Hey guys, in today's video I'll be doing a tropical update. Oh, and by the way, yes, I'm back. I took like a about 4-day break, but I'm back, and while I've been gone, Zeta has formed, and I've come back to make a video on Zeta now that it is officially a hurricane, that it just became a hurricane back at around 3 p.m., and now the 5 p.m. advisory is out, this next full advisory. Yeah, now we've had Zeta, it's become a hurricane. We've now had 3 consecutive hurricanes in a row with Delta, Epsilon, and Zeta. 2 major hurricanes in a row with Delta and Epsilon. I definitely don't foresee Zeta, though, becoming a major hurricane, but, I mean, 3 hurricanes in a row, though, with the Greek alphabet list at this point is pretty crazy, especially with the time frame we're in very late October, almost Halloween now. Zeta is now an 80-mile-per-hour Category 1 hurricane. Pressure is down to 981 millibars, and it's moving to the northwest at 10 miles per hour. Should be hitting the Yucatan Peninsula quite soon. And the new forecast track has hurricane warning in effect for the Yucatan Peninsula, including Cozumel, and even looks like a bit of a tropical storm warning there as well on the part of the northern coast of the Yucatan. And now with the new 5 p.m. advisory, there's also a hurricane watch in effect for southeastern Louisiana and I believe also coastal Mississippi, including New Orleans and Biloxi. And then there's I believe Mobile under hurricane warning or tropical storm warning. I can't foresee it. Let me zoom this in. I think it's under a tropical storm, or no, it's under a tropical storm watch. I think Mobile's under a tropical storm watch, and New Orleans and Biloxi are under a hurricane watch, and a little bit of the central Louisiana coastline is also under tropical storm watch. So, new hurricane tropical storm watches have gone up for the Gulf Coast, especially Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and even a portion of the Florida Panhandle there, including Pensacola, is under a tropical storm watch. So this tropical system, Zeta, is looking quite interesting, and it's moving at 10 miles per hour, so I think it could cross the Yucatan in generally a pretty quick fashion, and then it'll enter the Gulf, and then we'll see what it does from there. I don't think the Yucatan will really disrupt the system too much, to be honest, and I think once it enters the Gulf, it will also have a little bit of time to strengthen maybe a bit more before it gets curved into the coast because of a current winter storm that is bringing some very heavy snowfall amounts and even some ice to the Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Colorado area. Brought like a foot of snow to Denver, Colorado over the past few days, over the weekend, which was crazy. And then, in fact, actually, as you also look at the farther end of the cone here, Zeta will get curved farther to the north and east, and then get brought out to the east coast, especially the northeast Mid-Atlantic New England coast, and it'll combine with the winter storm system that is currently still bringing some snow and even ice to Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Nebraska, Kansas, and still I think portions of Colorado may still be also getting some snow. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong though, but those two systems, Zeta and this winter storm system, will combine, in fact, as we get towards Thursday and Friday, and bring a pretty interesting kind of somewhat of a nor'easter bit of a system across the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast of New England, and potentially even bring, it does look like it could bring some snowfall to New England, and even southern and coastal parts of New England, moving towards Friday. So I'll make a separate video on that, most likely going towards tomorrow. I'll have to figure out and find time to make some videos on that, but that's a little quick mention of that system, and that system looks pretty interesting, especially with what the models are showing for that system moving towards Friday. So this is what the forecast cone though is looking like for Zeta as of right now. The NEC expects Zeta to remain a hurricane up until pretty much landfall in southeastern Louisiana likely. So unfortunately, New Orleans, by the way, it looks like this time around you won't it doesn't look like you'll be as lucky this time. You've been in a cone now. This is your 7th time being in a tropical cyclone cone forecast from the National Hurricane Center this hurricane season, and looks like 7th time. Unfortunately, it'll be the 7th time where you will likely get hit pretty decently by a tropical system. Looks like Zeta might really bring some pretty problematic effects to you guys. And actually, in fact, there's some storm surge. Watches in effect, I believe now. Let me check this out here. Yes, so there's now storm surge watches in effect here, along from the central Louisiana coastline through the southeastern coastline of Louisiana, including New Orleans. Oh no, it doesn't look like New Orleans is under storm surge watch. Doesn't seem like, but it seems, well, Lake Pontchartrain in general, it seems, is under storm surge watch. So we'll have to see what happens with New Orleans with that. But storm surge watch as well in effect for coastal Mississippi, Alabama, and even the very western part of the Florida Panhandle, including Pensacola. So there is potential for some storm surge. You can see here's the storm surge amounts: 2 to 4 feet here for the very southern coastal parts of southeastern Louisiana, and then 4 to 6 feet here in the little bowl area of southeastern Louisiana into coastal Mississippi. 2 to 4 feet of storm surge for the Lake Pontchartrain area, and 2 to 4 feet for the coastal Alabama, including into Mobile, the Mobile Bay area and Mobile. 1 to 3 feet of storm surge for the Florida Panhandle and down a bit of the west coast of Florida there, down towards a bit of the northern west coast of Florida. Storm surge is even a bit of a problem here as well. The rainfall totals here, you can see Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. Looks like New Orleans could see up to 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. There is some bits of yellow in there, so some areas may be experiencing, some isolated areas may be experiencing up towards 6 inches of rainfall, but it looks like the general amount of rainfall most areas should expect is generally all the way up towards 4 inches. Mississippi, Biloxi, Mississippi, generally will be seeing potentially up towards 4 inches of rainfall. Mobile looks only get up towards 2 inches of rainfall, so that's good, especially since you may also be dealing with some storm surge. So that's a good thing there as well. All right, now let's look at the wind speed probabilities, and you can see that, well, the Yucatan has up to 100% chance of tropical storm force winds. Makes sense. They're pretty much already, they're most likely going to be feeling that pretty soon. And then the southeast Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, New Orleans has a, looks like a 30 to 40% chance. No. It has a, I think it looks like it has about a 40% chance, it seems, as of right now, for tropical storm force winds. And then Biloxi and Mobile have up towards more of a 50 to 60% chance of tropical storm force winds. So those areas are looking more and more likely to see some pretty strong winds. 58 mile per hour wind speed probabilities. New Orleans, Biloxi, and Mobile all generally have about 10 to 30% chance of tropical storm force winds. 58 mile per hour wind speeds. The hurricane force wind speed probabilities, those general areas don't really have much of a chance of seeing hurricane force wind speed probabilities as of right now. Those chances may go up slightly, but looks like you won't really experience that strong of winds. You'll likely experience, I think, in the end, generally tropical storm force winds anywhere from probably, I'd say definitely sustained will be anywhere from 40 to 50 miles per hour, gusting maybe towards that hurricane force, or maybe just below, around 60 to 70 miles per hour. So definitely will likely have some problems with very windy conditions. The flash flooding potential because of that rainfall. Also, there's a marginal chance of flash flooding in the green, but then there's that slight chance of flash flooding in the 10% chance of flash flooding there for New Orleans. Biloxi and Mobile is like right on the line. It has, I think it's just barely within that 10% slight chance area of flash flooding. So you guys may see some flash flooding. there does seem to be a somewhat decent chance you guys may see some isolated spots of flash flooding. So yeah, that is what that's looking like. The arrival time of tropical storm force winds for Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida Panhandle, anywhere from around Wednesday morning, around 8-9 a.m. through late Wednesday afternoon, probably around 4, 5, 6 p.m. So those tropical storm force winds will be, you'll generally want to pretty much be prepared for the winds and the conditions to really generally go downhill by Wednesday. So you still have some time, you guys in New Orleans and southeast Louisiana, coastal Mississippi, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle, especially the very western Florida Panhandle or in Pensacola. You guys still have a little bit of time left, another like day or so, maybe day and a half, to really fully prepare yourselves for the system, because especially after like noontime on Wednesday or so, especially once you get into the afternoon hours on Wednesday, you'll really want to make sure you are fully prepared, and you'll want to just hunker down after that point in time, and just ride out the storm after that point. So that is a look at when you'll expect the earliest reasonable arrival time of tropical storm force winds. Alright, so let's go to tropical tidbits, and let's look at what Zeta is looking like on the satellite imagery. And, you know, it's a decent looking weak Category 1 hurricane. You know, it's a very big blob. It's generally like a very big blob of very tall cloud tops. You can see there are those negative 90-degree cloud tops, so there are those very high, coldest cloud tops there within near the center of the storm. And in fact, actually, the center is underneath these strongest and tallest cloud tops, so that is a good sign that, well, the system is generally trying to strengthen still and trying to get better organized. So, you know, we may see the system try to strengthen a bit more as we move forward, but I don't know really how much more it will strengthen. I don't really foresee it strengthening that much more. Maybe strengthen maybe another 5 to 15 miles per hour, I'd say at most. But, you know, it really all depends on what it does between now and when it makes landfall in the Yucatan later tonight, and then what it does once it re-enters and re-emerges into the Gulf, and how it does in the Gulf. But yeah, that is what it looks like on satellite imagery. Decent looking system. It's generally a pretty blob, but you can see the hurricane models are in very good agreement. Likely will, honestly, in fact, hit the southeastern Louisiana coastline and into Mississippi and Alabama. New Orleans will be on it seems like it will likely be on the more western side of the system. There's somewhat of a chance maybe that the center does move far enough west where it could go right over New Orleans, but it seems like New Orleans should be safe from feeling the worst of the effects on the east side of the strongest of the winds pushing in all the water and everything. So that seems to be a good thing for New Orleans, though, with this system. At least they're not feeling there. It doesn't seem like they'll feel really like the worst effects of the system, but still, you'll be generally affected pretty decently in New Orleans and Biloxi and Mobile. So Biloxi and Mobile, you might not be as lucky, though, because of, I think, generally the way the system may be coming in, it will really push on the eastern side all of the worst of that storm surge and rainfall, and the strongest of the winds might really funnel in towards your guys' area. So that is look at what the hurricane model track guidance is showing. And then here is the current model intensity guidance. This is the 18Z run, and you can see it's at a weaker and Category 1 hurricane. There's only generally 2 models, maybe 3, 4 models that have it still strengthening a bit more. There's one that really takes it up towards Category 2, even potentially Category 3 status. And then there's the ship model that takes it. Oh no, this is the LGEM model. Yeah, this is the LGEM model that shows it getting generally though kind of hooking it up towards mid-range Cat 2 before kind of leveling it off and weakening it. Though majority of the models seem to have it kind of staying where it is as of right now, and then maybe weakening a bit as it goes over the Yucatan, and then maybe strengthening slightly before it officially makes landfall on the Gulf Coast around 48 hours from now, about 2 days from now, and then it will really level off in intensity because it's finally fully moved over land and will start to dissipate from that point onward. So that is a look at the current model intensity guidance for Zeta. Again, likely won't, I don't think, strengthen that much more between now and the time it makes landfall on the Gulf Coast, but could strengthen maybe a little bit more, smidge more. But again, we'll have to just continue to monitor that. All right, so now let's look at the forecast models for Zeta. This is the GFS model. You can see Zeta is down there. Bring this forward in time. GFS brings it over the Yucatan. And yeah, you can see, I mean, it looks like it will move over the Yucatan in a fairly quick amount of time, and then it'll enter the Gulf. And then the GFS has it potentially strengthening again a good bit before it makes landfall. Pretty much, it seems like just right over New Orleans, bringing very heavy rain and strong winds into New Orleans, and then crossing through Mississippi, Alabama, funneling the worst of that storm surge and winds in towards the coast of Mississippi and Alabama, and even maybe the very western portion of the Florida Panhandle. But again, looks like that generally that heaviest rainfall, that rainfall will be really one of the biggest deals of this system. So, in fact, let's take a look at the total accumulated precip that the GFS is showing as of right now for Zeta, and you can see looks like a good band of above 2 inches will set up because of Zeta from the very southeastern coast of Louisiana through New Orleans, and include Biloxi there, and the southern half of diagonal half of Mississippi into the northern 2/3 of Alabama and the northern third of Georgia. We'll generally see above 2 inches in Louisiana. Looks like could see up towards 4, maybe 5 inches of rainfall total. Looks like generally the same story for Mississippi and Alabama, and even Georgia as well. So looks like general highest rainfall totals could be all the way up towards 4, 5, 6 inches. So that could cause minor to moderate amounts of flooding. I think rainfall totals generally above 6 inches, especially, will get you more towards that moderate to even, especially, I think, major flooding potential because of that heavy rainfall once you get higher, especially above 8 inches of rainfall. So it doesn't look like we'll be experiencing potentially major threat of flooding because of rainfall. Looks like, though, generally maybe about up towards moderate chance of flooding from rainfall. So that is what the GFS model is showing for the rainfall. And now let's show you what the CMC model is showing for Zeta. So you can see there's Zeta down there. And we bring this forward in time, shows Zeta moving across the Yucatan, re-entering the Gulf, and then CMC shows it way weaker, and showing it making landfall much farther to the west, more towards the central coast of Louisiana, much closer towards where Delta and Laura made landfall, which would be very unfortunate, but still also bringing those like heavy bands of rainfall and maybe even strong pockets of wind and some storm surge in towards those southeastern Louisiana areas, including New Orleans, coastal Mississippi, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle. But really don't want to trust the CMC all that much with the tropical systems, honestly. The total rainfall, though, does seem to have that general heaviest amount of rainfall set up in that same area as the GFS, interestingly enough, where they could see up towards 2 inches, maybe some areas higher than 2 inches there, but definitely a lot lesser of amounts being shown, much more like sporadic areas of above 2 inches than what the GFS is showing, more widespread. So, though it does generally seem like it will be the case, though, for Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and especially for southeastern Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, that you will see likely above 2 inches in those more southern areas, the more southern areas in Louisiana and Mississippi, and then the more northern half of Alabama. So you will likely see in some of those areas 2+ inches of rainfall. So that is what the CMC is showing for total rainfall from Zeta. Now let's show you what the European model is showing for Zeta. And here. So you can see there's Zeta crosses, or actually let me zoom this out there. Let me bring this back for you guys so you can see that a little better. You can see there's Zeta crossing the Yucatan and then re-emerging into the Gulf. The European model has the system really strengthening a lot more and becoming way more intense when it's in the Gulf, and then hitting southeastern Louisiana. Again, looks like it will be heading pretty much right over. Whoops. Looks like it will be heading. Oh, geez. Stop. Looks like it will be heading right over New Orleans and into Mississippi and Alabama. So bringing that heaviest of rainfall and storm surge and strongest winds in towards southeastern Louisiana and New Orleans, into that bowl area that makes of southeastern Louisiana into coastal Mississippi and Alabama. So definitely looks like, I think, coastal Mississippi and Alabama will feel the worst effects, I think, of storm surge. Maybe those very coastal southeast Louisiana regions in that bowl shape there. But New Orleans looks like the worst of the kind of flooding potential will be maybe from the rainfall. The storm surge doesn't look to be as big a deal, but still, you should be mindful of the potential of some pretty heavy rainfall, the decent potential of some isolated areas of flash flooding. So really be aware of that, but also really the winds you'll want to really be mindful of, because those winds could be pretty strong from the system. Now let's look at the total accumulated precipitation from Zeta. There we go. And you can see, oh my god, come on. Okay, here. Alright, so you can see that just like what the GFS and CMC were showing, especially the GFS was showing that band of 2+ inches of rainfall showing up right over the New Orleans, southeastern Louisiana area in towards Mississippi, Alabama, showing rainfall totals of greater than 2 inches, even 3 inches. New Orleans looks to get around just about 2 to 3 inches, maybe pretty close to around 2.5 to 3 inches. And then moving up into Mississippi, you could see rainfall totals of greater than 3 inches, maybe even areas getting as high as 6-7 inches of rainfall in central eastern Mississippi. So some pretty heavy rainfall totals could be coming for some of those areas there in the Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama area. Alabama, you can could see rainfall totals of up towards 3, 4, 5 inches of rainfall, like I was just saying before. So, yeah, this Zeta could be a pretty big rainmaker, especially for you guys there in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So, that is what the European model is showing for rainfall totals. All right, now finally, let's go to the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season Wikipedia page, and man, we have had a record-breaking, insane hurricane season this year. Second most active Atlantic hurricane season on record. With Zeta, this is the farthest in the name list we've gotten ever in a hurricane season for 2005. 2005's final named storm for that hurricane season was Zeta, so we've gotten to the, at least on the naming list, this is where we've gotten to where 2005 ended with Zeta. We've had a total of 28 depressions, 27 total named storms, 11 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes. This is the first time since, I believe, 2012, or no, actually, no, what am I saying? Sorry, since 2017 that we've seen 10 or more hurricanes, but I believe, if I'm not wrong, 2012 had 11 or 12 hurricanes total. Let me just make sure. I don't want to get this wrong here. 2012 had 10 hurricanes, like 2017. Okay. So, yeah, this is the first time since 2017, really, the most recent, that we've seen 10 or more hurricanes. But getting 10 plus hurricanes, I think, if I'm not wrong, that the last time we've seen more than 10 hurricanes was 2005, where 2005 had the record most amount of hurricanes, 15 total. So it's pretty interesting. We've had a total of 4 major hurricanes, so, you know, we got a decent amount of those major hurricanes in there for this season. Total of 153 fatalities so far this season. Total damage now is at above $27.873 billion. So it's been a decently damaging season. And in fact, looking at the hurricane season forecast from NOAA Tropical Storm Risk, Colorado State University, it's well exceeded in terms of named storms, the forecast. NOAA's final official forecast from August 6th called for 19 to 25 named storms. We're already past 25 at 27 total named storms. 11 hurricanes. We're already at the end of their forecast for total amount of hurricanes, according to NOAA. And major hurricanes, though, 3 to 6. We've stayed well within that range, more towards the lower end. So that's good. That's definitely good. But I gotta say, my forecast, I'm calling for 30 named storms total this season, 11 hurricanes, and 7 major hurricanes this season. My major hurricane forecast was definitely not accurate. Definitely not that accurate. The total hurricane forecast for my forecast was right on point. We've gotten exactly 11 hurricanes so far this season. I don't foresee we getting any more hurricanes. There's a chance there may be one more hurricane this season, but I really doubt that. I don't see that really exactly happening. And I think 30 total named storms is definitely likely at this point. I think we will end somewhere right around 30 named storms. We're already at 27. I think going through November, getting to the official end of the hurricane season, November 30th, I think we could see another, between 3 to 5 more named storms, which would take us a bit past 30 named storms total, in fact, a bit, and we would become officially the most active Atlantic hurricane season on record. And, I don't know, I guess in a way, I gotta say, 2020's Atlantic hurricane season, in a way, deserves being the most active Atlantic hurricane season on record, especially just kind of with, like, the way the year of 2020 has gone thus far. It's been just insane. The ACE total so far this season is now at 133.5775 units. So, the ACE total for this hurricane season is also really bumped up a lot, especially since we got a really backloaded amount of hurricanes and major hurricanes happening, especially like one after the other with Delta and Epsilon. So that was pretty crazy. And we generally saw, though, throughout the entire Atlantic hurricane season this year in 2020, very consistent, having tropical cyclones form very consistently one after the other. So that's pretty interesting to take note of. Next name on the list is Eta. I think we will get through Iota, have a total of 9 named storms on the Greek alphabet list. We may see maybe a little more, just because I think the fact that we may still be in a bit of a conducive phase for still a bit more tropical activity, and we may still see a couple more tropical activity, a bit more tropical cyclones and some tropical activity once we get towards more of the end of November, middle to end of November, getting towards the very end of the hurricane season. So, again, it's been an extremely active, extremely crazy hurricane season. It's been nuts. I mean, this is the craziest Atlantic hurricane season I can remember. I was only a year old when the 2005 Atlantic hurricane season happened, so I don't really remember that hurricane season at all. So this is kind of my 2005 Atlantic hurricane season that I'll remember for the rest of my life. So it's pretty cool, honestly. I'm pretty grateful to be alive for kind of a hurricane season like this. This has been my update, pretty long update on Zeta, just because just how crazy this hurricane season has been, and just everything to report about on Zeta with what Zeta is now. It's now officially a hurricane, the 11th hurricane of the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season. It's crazy that we've had a total of 11. But again, my hurricane season forecast, my 2020 Atlantic hurricane season forecast, has been has done, honestly, generally quite well so far. Especially with the amount of total hurricanes, I've nailed it perfectly up to this point. Forecasted 11. And, in fact, right before I end this video, I do want to show you guys, just because I just want to show you guys my official forecast for the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season. And let me see here. So, I forecasted my last official edit to this was 25 to 29 total named storms. This is officially now changing it officially so you guys can see it to 30. I've had it at 30. My official Atlantic hurricane season forecast, I did an update video like a few weeks after I did my last update video for my official 2020 Atlantic hurricane season forecast, bumping it up to 30 named storms. So now officially you guys see it. I forecasted a total of 30 named storms now for the Atlantic hurricane season. I think we will likely get to that point, maybe even surpass 30 by a bit. We could see even up to 32 named storms total this season. again, I forecasted a total of 11 hurricanes and nailed that perfectly. And I don't really foresee us getting any more hurricanes. There is a slight chance we may see one more, but I don't really see that happening or really likely whatsoever at all. 7 major hurricanes total I forecasted. That was way too high, honestly. We've only had a total of 4, and that's all we're likely definitely going to get so far this entire Atlantic hurricane season. So, didn't really too great with the major hurricane forecast, but in general, though, I think my Atlantic hurricane season forecast is, and this is the first official kind of Atlantic hurricane season forecast I've ever made, and I'm wowed at how well I've done with this forecast. Yeah, it's been crazy. So yeah, you guys got to see it there. This is my official 2020 Atlantic hurricane season forecast there. But again, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is my long update on Hurricane Zeta. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it informative, enjoyable. If you did, please consider liking the video, commenting on the video. If you're a first-time viewer and you like what you saw in today's video, if you like this kind of content, if you like tropical content in general, I have done tons of that kind of content on my channel, so please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.